Hi everyone, it's good to see you today. I am back with a brand new story and I am back with my balance scale. The story that I'd like to read to you is called Just a Little Bit, and it is a story about an elephant and a mouse who go to the playground to play together, and they get on the seesaw and they run into a little problem. The problem is this elephant is very, very heavy and this mouse is very, very light, and they are not able to play on their seesaw together because they are very different weights. So I brought back our balance scale that we used a couple of days ago because I wanted to do a couple of more experiments comparing things that are different weights using the words lighter and heavier. Again, our balance scale is a tool that's used to compare different weights. When something is heavy, it goes in the bucket and this side of the balance scale gets pushed down. And you can use this triangle and this triangle to see when things are not equal. So if I were to have something on this side and this was heavy, it would tip our scale or our balance. So that way this heavier side is down and the lighter side is up. And when things are balanced, you will notice that the two triangles will line up together. So what we're going to do today is I am going to take two different things that are the same size, and I am going to compare the weight of the two things. So the first thing that scientists do when they conduct an experiment is they make some observations. So they notice some things about what they're working with. So I have one of these little gems or jewels. It's sort of like a marble, and I have a pom-pom. And what I notice is that they are the same size, just about. But I do notice that the pom-pom is feeling like it is much lighter than the gem that I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 10 of them. So I put 10 gems inside this bucket, and I put 10 pom-poms inside this bucket. And then the next thing a scientist does after they make some observations is they form a question. So my question is, which is heavier, 10 of these gems put together or 10 of these pom-poms that are put together? After I form my question, I make a prediction or I make a guess about what I think is going to be the answer. And based on using with my hands, I am going to guess that these gems are going to be heavier than the pom-poms. So then I'm going to conduct my experiment. I'm going to put the gems over on this side. And I can see that they are pretty heavy. They're being pushed down here. But now I'm going to put some weight on this side. I'm going to put my 10 pom-poms. And I can see that this did not move my balance scale. I can see that it is not lined up, so they are not equal. And this side is heavier. So my gems are heavier. So my results are that I learned that 10 gems are heavier than 10 pom-poms. Or I could say 10 pom-poms are lighter than 10 gems. So let's try a different one. So I had some gems and I had some pom-poms. What if I were to take 10 pennies? So I'm going to make an observation. I'm going to look at my pennies and they're sort of the same size. And I'm going to take some Legos. So again, I'm going to notice that they are about the same size. I do feel like the pennies feel a little bit heavier in my hand. So my question is going to be, which is heavier, Legos or pennies? And I'm going to make a prediction. And before I make the prediction, I want you to make the prediction. Can you think for a minute, what do you think is going to be heavier? Can you predict which is going to be heavier, the Legos or the pennies? Let's test out your prediction. I'm going to put the Legos on this side. Oh, and they are pretty heavy. They've pushed down our balance scale. Let's put 10 pennies on this side. And what do you notice? What is the data? What have we found out? Which side is heavier? Is it the 10 pennies? Yes, you are right. Good job. So we have learned that 10 pennies are heavier than 10 Lego bricks. Now, what if I were to take 10 of these pom-poms that I know we found were pretty light. I'll put them into this bin. And let's take 10, I have some Cheez-Its. These are a snack that my boys really like. So I'll have 10 Cheez-Its and I will put them into this bucket here. Now the one thing that I notice is my Cheez-Its are a little bit bigger than my pom-pom. They're pretty close in size, but the Cheez-Its are bigger. But one thing that I know, when I bite into Cheez-Its, they're very flaky, like they're sort of filled with air, so they're not very heavy. So I am wondering, and forming a question, what is heavier? Do you think 10 Cheez-Its is going to be heavier, or 10 pom-poms are going to be heavier? Can you make a prediction? Can you make a guess about what you think is going to be heavier? Now, the fun part about making a prediction is it does not have to be correct. It's okay for your prediction to be wrong. Scientists are wrong all the time, and what's important is that after we do our experiment, we learn from that answer, and then we can move on from there. So it's okay to just make a guess and have it not be right. So make a guess about which you think is going to be heavier, and let's test it out. I'm going to put the pom-poms over there, and we'll put the Cheez-Its over here. What do you notice? Wow, I am surprised. My prediction would have been, I would have thought that the 10 pom-poms would have been heavier, but I am finding out that the Cheez-Its are heavier because this balance scale is being pushed down on this end. And so now I know that 10 Cheez-Its is heavier than 10 of these pom-poms. And in our story today, let's read and find out about how this elephant is able to get onto a balance or a seesaw with his friend Mouse, and how they can have fun together at the playground. Just a Little Bit, written by Ann Tompert and illustrated by Lynn Mussinger. Just a little bit. Elephant and Mouse were in the park playing on the slides and swings. Elephant said, "Let's try the seesaw." Elephant sat down on one side of the seesaw. Mouse climbed up to the very edge of the up side. But nothing happened. Take a look at those two friends. Is that a very even seesaw? Is that balanced if it looks like this? I don't think so. I think the elephant is much heavier, and so he's pushing down his side of the balance. "Push down," urged Elephant. "Push down." Mouse pushed down against the board as hard as he could, but still nothing happened. Along came Giraffe. "Let me help you," she said. Giraffe walked up the board and sat next to Mouse. Nothing happened. Elephant's end of the seesaw stayed on the ground. Mouse's end stayed up in the air. "We need just a little more help," said Zebra, trotting up to the scene. And nothing happened. Elephant still stayed on the ground. Mouse still stayed in the air. "You need just a little more help," said Lion, as he pranced up the seesaw. And nothing happened. Can you believe it? All of these animals still do not weigh as much as this elephant. "Everyone together now," urged Elephant. "Push down." Mouse, Giraffe, Zebra, and Lion pushed down with all their might. And nothing happened. By then, a crowd had gathered to watch. "I need just a little more help," Elephant called out to them. "Let me see what I can do," said Bear, as he lumbered up the seesaw toward them. Mouse, Giraffe, Zebra, and lion grunted and groaned and grimaced as they pressed down on the board with every last bit of their strength. And nothing happened. "Oh no," moaned the crowd. "Who will help just a little bit more?" Elephant called out to the crowd. "How about me?" cried Crocodile. "And me," said Mongoose. "I'll join the party," cried Monkey from the banana tree overhead. She swung down onto Ostrich's back. So Crocodile, Mongoose, Monkey, and Ostrich climbed onto the seesaw, one at a time, and nothing happened. "Oh no," moaned the crowd again. Look at little mouse. He's hanging on by the giraffe's tail. He'll never get off the ground," said someone in the crowd. Push down, urged Elephant. Mouse, giraffe, zebra, lion, bear, crocodile, mongoose, monkey, and ostrich grunted and groaned and grimaced as they all pushed down on the board as hard as they could. And nothing happened. "They'll never do it," said someone in the crowd. "Let's go." The onlookers had started to move away when a small brown beetle, can you see him right there, flew down from the sky. For a moment, it hovered above the seesaw. Then it flew straight to Mouse and landed on his head. Now, do you possibly think that a little beetle like that could be enough to tip this scale, to tip the seesaw? Down, down, down to the ground went Mouse and the rest of the animals. "Every little bit helps," Elephant trumpeted from the top of the seesaw. "Hooray! Hooray! Hooray!" cheered the crowd. With Elephant on one side and mouse, giraffe, zebra, lion, bear, crocodile, mongoose, monkey, ostrich, and the small brown beetle on the other, they all went up and down, while the crowd cheered and clapped. And there they are. They're finally balanced. All of these animals equal the weight of one big elephant. What good friends. The end. If you liked that idea of the seesaw and you were wondering if you could make one at home, you can. All you need is popsicle stick, a marker, and a pom-pom. And what you can do is you can use your popsicle stick as the beam for your seesaw, and you can use a marker for your fulcrum, and then you can use a little pom-pom and you can put it on one end of your seesaw, and then you can take your finger, and what do you think is going to happen if I were to bang on one end of the seesaw? I have something that's pushing down on here, and I'm going to push really hard to make something really heavy on the other end. Woo! And it flies up into the air. And then what you can do is you can experiment. I glued 2 popsicle sticks together because I think it's a little bit easier to hold the pom-pom and so that it won't fall off. You can adjust your fulcrum to all different places. You could have your fulcrum closer to where your fingers are. You could have your fulcrum closer to where the pom-pom is, or the eraser, or whatever it is that you're going to have on one end of your pom-pom. And you can practice experimenting, banging on your seesaw and seeing how far and how fun you could make this. I hope that you're having fun at home. I miss seeing you, and I'll talk to you soon.